But I was in Israel, actually.
5 o'clock. Okay, it's 5 o'clock, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. I think is the sheet going around? Okay. Keep your eyes peeled to our emails for the vouchers to go around. Make sure that you sign those in a timely fashion. Is there any public comment? And I see no public comment. Right. Okay. Is there a motion for approval of minutes of 9 February 2026?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Okay, that brings us to our reports and updates, beginning with the superintendent report.
Well, hello everyone. It's a lovely sunny day. Yesterday was beautiful. I went to dinner at a friend's house, neighbor's house, and it was 6 o'clock and it was still light out. It was amazing. So I'd like to start with our district service promise, which is interrupting educational inequities and creating schools where every child and staff member thrives one conversation at a time. Our enrollments are down this month. Several schools have lost some students, so we are down 6 from 1332 to 1325. Staffing updates, you'll see this is populated a little bit more. We have a GT math, MTSS math person at Trenton, guidance social worker at Trenton, special education teachers, 2 at Mount Desert, and we have at Tremont, we have several positions open there. Custodian at Trenton is a new position as well. We still have our occupational therapist needs and district transportation, but I'll be talking about that later in the report. But we do have a recent hire in human resources, Bob Ouellette, who is coming to us from Flagler County School District in Florida. After years as a teacher, he was also a principal and an HR manager there. He'll be starting June 15th. He grew up in Maine in the Auburn area and is eager to return home. We're very excited to have him, and he has a whole bunch of things he is looking forward to sharing with us. So we're really excited about that.
I just had some eyebrows raised. It was Tremont was the GT MTSS.
Oh, what did I say?
Trenton.
Sorry, Tremont.
Yeah,
So, you know, it's hard to. School highlights at Mount Desert Island High School. The second semester open house occurred on March 2nd, along with the incoming freshman night. The one at Queens was performed at the Maine Drama Festival Regionals. And the unified basketball team, we don't like to say win or lose, but they beat Ellsworth. So we'll take that. At the Longfellow School, students will be exploring Brazilian culture in the coming weeks. As part of their Boatworks, the students will be learning how to build picnic tables because they'll need them at Boatworks and they'll need them at the school as part of their outdoor learning. And they held their Cranberry Island Olympics with events like curling, speed skating, and ski jumping. Over at Connors Emerson, grades 5 and 8 took part in the frozen classroom, exploring ice fishing and winter survival techniques. And ropes and mats were on tap for PE class, and 8th graders showed the kindergartens how it's done. Over in Trenton, that is with a TRENTON, grades K and 3 participated in programs at the Challenger Learning Center. Read Across America was a big success this year, and Coach Johnson, I never knew this of Coach Johnson, but he's a Pokemon guy, and he has started a Pokemon club for students to come after school and do some trading. Over at the Pematic School this past Friday saw Dress Like a Teacher Day, and if you go to the website and the newsletter, you'll see some really interesting costumes. It was great. Acadia National Park Rangers led both first grade classes through the Wildlife and Habitats program, and 7th and 8th graders went to Somes Sound to explore winter ecology with A&P Rangers and Billy Halpern of Somes Minell. Swans Island, they participated in their local spelling bee, and then those winners headed off to Hancock School to represent Swans Island at the county bee. 6th and 8th graders are learning how to create videos using the green screens in video editing software. And in music class, students have been learning the dance of greeting from Denmark. At Mount Desert Elementary, they're holding the first round of speeches for the school speech contest. And then those winners will go off to our district-wide contest. 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders are engaged in the Empty Bowl Service Learning Project, and 7th graders are now Heart Saver and controllably certified for adults, children, and infants. And over at Tremont, 5th and 6th graders went to the Challenger Learning Center. 6th graders are working on their Future of Maine College and Career Aspirations essays, and grades 2 through 4 participated in the Family Ice Fishing Day. So a lot of interesting things. Even in the wintertime, kids are getting out and doing some really interesting things. Our MDIRSS budgets across the board, we haven't heard anything about our insurance rates for Blue Cross Blue Shield. I believe they said the maximum would be 12%, but that doesn't mean us. It just means overall throughout the state, the maximum would be 12%. So we're waiting to see where we land with that. We have the high school on April 1st has their meeting, so remember to mark your calendar for that. And then Connors Emerson is passed by their board. Swans Island budget meeting passed last week, I believe, and Cranberry Islands is this Saturday. And Pematic passed their budget. Tremont passed theirs. MDES passed theirs. Trenton is passing theirs tomorrow. And if you look at the top, I ended up, just so you could see the combined budgets, budget to budget, was a 9.55% increase. Appropriations on average was 6.92 across the district. MDIRSS updates. And I'm kind of going to do this in concert with Julie and Rhonda because I kind of took some of their stuff.
And do it together.
We're going to do it together. So, and if you have questions on it, you can please ask them to clarify. But the 7th grade day, which we're calling Control the Feed, where students will learn how to use AI with purpose instead of letting it use them. They will practice the use of AI, of ethical AI moves, which are knowing when AI is a smart tool versus a shortcut, writing better prompts, checking for bias, protect privacy, and making tech choices that they can feel good about. By teaching our students how to maintain their authority over digital tools, we equip them with the tools to be truth seekers and bridge builders. The MDIRSS admin team will be working on Thursday, are having a retreat, working on our strategic plan progress monitoring tool, assessing on our goals in the areas of instruction and curriculum assessment. We're continuing review of work with the book Street Data, Making Learning Public, and spotlighting Heather Dorr and Crystal DeGrassa. Heather will be showing her behavior system framework, and Crystal will be talking about creating space for music minutes. We'll also be discussing endorsement of EL for grades 3 through 4, supporting Tier 1 math with Aaron Oliver, and hoping to finalize our curriculum endorsement and local adoption process. And then on Friday, we'll have our professional day where staff will be watching the movie Count It Out. We talked about that a couple months ago, I believe. And working in vertical teams on content development across pre-K through 12 span, along with continuing our work with Amanda Wilson. She'll be supporting special teachers on Tier 1 and Tier 2 classroom behavior supports. And an exciting thing, of course, with our AI work is the Southern Maine Partnership Learning Conference had asked if we could be part of the Leading AI in an Age of Distraction conference. And so our AI team will be presenting ethical AI uses in schools to that conference. And then I just wanted to highlight in April, we will want to, and so folks can start thinking about the collective bargaining. We'll be choosing members for our collective bargaining team for a new round of negotiations at our April board meeting. So, be thinking about that. And I've already spoken to the association, and so they're going to be picking their folks in and around April as well. Any questions about some of the things happening? MDIRSS staff spotlight. I spotlighted Jandria True. She is a compassionate leader who over this past year has had to manage innumerable challenges at her school. She's done so with poise and professionalism, always being sure that her students were the utmost responsibility. She is loved by her staff and has stepped in wherever there was a need. And this is a time of year when we start talking about some of our retirees. We have 3 of those. Sherry Brown, who's an ed tech at Connors Emerson. She's been an ed tech for the last 27 years. She's been active in the support staff association and has supported many students through the years. Her compassion for her students was clearly evident in her work, and she'll be missed there. And Amanda Dyer, kindergarten teacher at Connors Emerson. Amanda has been teaching for 37 years, and she's always been at Connors Emerson. She has been a leader of the association and worked diligently to support her profession. She is well respected as you can get, and she spent many years as a kindergarten teacher and taught countless students that all they needed to know they would learn in kindergarten. And Barbara Lyons, who is a custodian at Trenton, she has been there for 10 years, helping to maintain a healthy and clean learning environment at Trenton. She knew every student and was always willing to lend a hand no matter what task. And she would participate in Spirit Week, which endeared her to staff and students alike. So I honor them and the service that they've provided to our schools over the years. For MDIRSS reorganization, at our Wednesday meeting, we'll be discussing insights from the recent meeting with town officials. And I wanted to make sure that you might already have one, but why not have more? Just the little one, well, it's really the 2-pager on the points of the plan that are identified, so everybody is clear, what we are working on. And then in the school board legislative corner, I put a link because it's that time of year where there is potential folks running for the school board. So if you know of someone running, when this is uploaded to the website, they can click on this and take a look at, just some reflections on what it's like to be a school board member. And then I loaded the legislative brief. And I just wanted to highlight there is LD, where is it? I passed it by. It's LD 2, not 225. I don't recall what it is, but it is the update on the EPS model.
It's right there.
2175.
There you go. I just wanted to share that I've looked at some of the preliminary impacts on basically what they're doing is restructuring the regional index, and instead of relying solely on your town valuation, that they will start taking a look at the impact of economically disadvantaged within your area. They're also looking at making some changes in how they're dealing with special education, and in some of the initial spreadsheets that I've seen for the index for changing the regional index. There's not much of a change for us. I haven't seen any data on what the special ed changes might look like. And then there's some interest in doing something with transportation. So I'll be talking with other superintendents and then sharing some more information on what this is looking at. And I'll pass along any information where you might be helpful in terms of whether or not this is something that will be helpful. It may be for some of our schools, but it may not be so much for us in our area. And so that's my report.
Are there questions for Mike? Okay.
Matt, would you go back to that slide that had all the AI stuff on it?
Yeah.
I just thought we could talk a little more. Okay.
So we're moving into directors and teacher learning.
Segue.
I'm really excited about the 7th grade day, actually. This has shaped up as really a year-long district-wide team discussion, and it is replacing a prior island-wide activity that we did, which was the 7th grade read. And, you know, that was not easy to let go of because it's, you know, a cherished experience. It found a new home in 4th grade, so it's going to be the 4th grade read. So, and the 4th grade teachers are excited about it, and our middle school teachers do feel like this is more relevant right now for things that they are encountering, and a lot of our students are using AI without any guidance at all. So we're pretty proud to be jumping on this, but we realize we're not hitting everybody at once, right? So this is just a 7th grade first kind of norming experience that we're hoping to get off the ground and learn from too, in particular because we've got some frameworks in mind that we are going to put in play. And we're going to educate this group a little more fully next month in April. So I know we've talked about Kate Meyer coming and doing some presentation work for April. I'm getting that right, not May. May is GT. Okay. So in April, and it's going to coincide with, and actually, Matt, I'm going to ask you to help me with this one because we've had some visitors from the state come and highlight the high school and some of the work that they are doing with AI work. Derek Pierce is the former principal of Pasco Bay High School. He now is doing some other work, and I want to say it's going to be on Maine PBN. Is that okay?
Yes.
So he's working with a couple of consortiums that are working together. I'll have that more explicitly written in the April note to put together a story about how different schools are, you know, handling this, you know, shift. I didn't want to say that, but this major disruption to how we do business, and our school was highlighted. And Matt, do you want to say anything about it? Or do you want to wait
It's actually
April?
part of a bigger series, not just about AI. The episode that we're in is about the work that we're doing with AI. It's called Learning from Maine, I think.
Learning from Maine's, yes.
And so some of the episodes are already out. I think ours is supposed to release in the early summer.
Great.
They're talking about actually doing a screening here.
Oh, great. Well, more information to come. It's supposed to release in April, I thought. And that's why we've got whether it's April or May, we'll still do the presentation in April. But, you know, we are trying to get really clear on our vision. And not long ago in our administrative team, we put out a district kind of draft mission statement, which we got feedback on as a district team and are ready to roll out and then support with professional development. And so that will come next month. We'll do a more comprehensive presentation of that. And then our PD day is kicking off this Friday, and we've already previewed Counted Out, so we don't need to say more about that unless you want to. But every person in this district is going to experience that. So that's our communal messaging component that we're going to have. But then if you looked at the March note and the link, you can see the ongoing projects that we've been talking about are continuing in different spheres. And, you know, whether it's vertical alignment, working on, Mike had referenced EL education. It has been endorsed 5.8 at this time, and we are currently working with a strategic planner on how to best support that work moving forward. We have contracted with a professional developer who's coming to help fine-tune things and listen to teachers' concerns and then troubleshoot those. We're pretty excited about it because often when we talk with consultants, they say, well, you gotta do this, this, and this. It's how it's designed. And then I say things like, well, I have a multi-age classroom, you know, 3-5 on Swans Island, how are we gonna handle that one? And they scratch their head and say, I don't know. And this one's actually kind of excited for that challenge to say, well, let's problem solve this and figure it out. So we feel like we're enlisting good help and support. And it's important for us to do that because, you know, we know our schools, but we can reaffirm our own familiar. It's good to have people from the outside come in and challenge us on different ideas. So that's ongoing work. Amanda Wilson's coming back, ongoing work. She'll be focusing with special education teachers on core behavioral supports. We're also going to zero in on the specialist classrooms, which are different than traditional, you know, your traditional classroom environment. I think that's it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about math with different groups of teachers, and we've met Erin. She came and spoke a couple months ago, so we're really excited about today.
Yeah, she's going to do some great work. So, any questions?
Gail?
Is there any thought of extending access to the movie to parents? Or community as a larger?
Maybe it is costly. We did talk about inviting the board to attend. There'll be 3 showings, so it might be great feedback for you to attend one of the showings and then give us your thoughts about that. I'm almost a little worried that it could be out of date soon. You know, and because there's a lot of current events highlighted in it, and the world we're living in is moving so fast. I'm just wondering how relevant it's going to be in a month or so. So I'm glad we're getting it in now.
The showings are at 8, 10, 15, and 1.
Yeah.
Do you think, like this all seems great, all this, the math accounted out, whatever, do you think are staff excited about these opportunities, like are people looking forward to
I think some don't know what's coming and trying to sell it, like, no, you really want to see this, trust me, and I'll let you know afterwards with the feedback. So, yes and no. I think some people don't know. I think some people aren't thrilled about Amanda Wilson, and we've talked a little bit about that, about engagement and making sure that the sessions are more engaging, and we've worked on that explicitly. In fact, we've had her partner with our instructional coach to make sure that. So, you know, and I think it's important messaging. Like, you don't just have a one shot and hey, you didn't like it, and so it's done. You give people feedback, and then you improve, right? So it's like modeling what we ourselves would want for ourselves, and we did give direct feedback. I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, we're people. So I think that's on the table. Let's see, I think people are happy to have professionals coming in and leading some work. It depends on your pocket. So it's, if you look at it, it's a variety of responses and nuanced a little bit.
When you say people aren't excited about Amanda Wilson, the person, the training, the content, can you just explain a little bit?
Well, I did report on this earlier on in the year that she got some cool feedback in the fall in terms of her engagement.
Cool.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So and you know what, she was, you know, and we gave her the honest feedback and said we need to see X, Y, and Z happen, and here's what we'd like you to do, and she said okay.
Thank you.
So and was
Very open.
very open and wanting to get better. So yeah. And I just want to reiterate, she is an expert in her field.
Yes.
And the people who are working with her, and this is another thing we should mention, she's coming on the 12th, the day before, to do site visits with the behavior interventionists, to be in schools, watching classrooms, doing debriefs and observations. She is an expert. She knows her stuff. Commanding 300 people in a room is another animal, right? So that's not, and we've also adjusted to make the settings more constructive to success. So we're not doing a full all day PD with everybody in one room. It's small groups, specific to content areas. So like I mentioned, special ed and specials. We're just doing small chunks at a time. So I anticipate it will go well, but people will have memories.
Everything's not for everyone.
Yeah, for the 7th grade day, is it just one specific AI program that you're going to focus on, or is it several different programs?
And it's not just AI too. I mean, we are talking. There is the opening keynote is going to be about how it is a competition for your mind, and there's going to be education about notifications and how things are designed to capture your attention and addictive qualities and all of those components. That's the setting, and then they go into workshops. So.
Other questions? Okay, the transportation report.
Doesn't want to get bigger. So this is the transportation brief, and it's an update on our current logistical constraints, some of the educational impacts, and some potential systematic solutions for our district's transportation network. In overview, I kind of broke it down into our current state, core challenges, and the path forward. Our current state of transportation is each school is independent, multi-tiered busing system operating town by town. So that's what we have. The core challenges have been severe localized driver shortages, forcing some extreme and unsustainable staff interventions, and I'll sort of share those. And the path forward is a 4-point intervention plan that to integrate routes, meaning kind of erase town lines as a possibility, leverage technology, and secure some external partnerships, and I'll talk about those. And so the current transportation model, you have elementary schools, those buses complete their localized runs for elementary school first, and then, so each town delivers to their school, and then after that, they come back and they do the students of high school in their town, and then bring them to the high school. And so that limits our ability. And then, as you know, they pass other students on the road and they don't pick them up. And all of that has led to sort of a disjointed system. An operational note is, each school currently provides transportation and it's restricted by town lines. And we have some contractual exceptions, because not all of our schools have their own buses. So we have some schools we have 2 schools that have contracted busing with SEER, and then we have schools that have their own bus drivers. And Mount Desert, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, is exploring maybe doing a hybrid with their own drivers and with SEER drivers. So it's a pretty complicated system. So our localized shortages, to tell you the truth, is we have 2 drivers down at Mount Desert, 1 driver down at Pematic, and potentially 2 retirements at Tremont by the end of this year.
The Tremont is down.
And they're down. Now they're down 1 driver. So some of the extreme stopgaps has Leon at Mount Desert has been working overtime to handle 2 jobs. He's doing his, the maintenance of the school and doing the bus driving on either ends. Principal Dorr is personally driving the school van to conduct some after-school drop-offs to meet families' needs. Ed techs, there's an ed tech at Mount Desert who has taken the class that we offered back in the fall and is working on getting through his hours before he takes the test, and so hopefully all that goes well. And at Pematech, we have 2 teachers there who are licensed. One of them, Ed Mishu, who's been doing a majority of the driving in the morning and in the afternoon, but sometimes they switch it up with another staff member who also has their license, but that is unsustainable. And at Tremont, I think Warren Young is going to help out for a little bit as we're exploring a connection with SEER to see if we can get them on board with that. So the way that this impacts instructional minutes is at the high school, we adjusted the time for student wellness because we learned that adequate student sleep accommodated by a later start time is beneficial for their learning. But for instructional minutes, transportation and scheduling logistics sort of threaten to compress the school day even more. The bottom line is fewer minutes in class may inhibit the school's ability to provide the rigorous and engaging learning experience students require. Transportation logistics are actively dictating instructional time, and so that's where we're bumped up against. So some of the strategies that I am looking at is sort of, there's a policy adoption of erasing the borders, and we've sort of done that. Boards have said, you can begin working on a system to see what that looks like. And so I've had Warren beginning that process, though he's had some struggles. Every time he signs in, he gets booted off the TransFinder. I think we nailed it this time, so he's in. Then there's the strategic partnerships with looking at SEER Bus as a potential partner, not only in seeing how they can work with some of our other schools, whether we're going to need to adopt them whole or in part in some of our schools, and also looking at chatting with them on April 10th of whether or not there's some work that we can do where they might be able to do some of the coordinating. So instead of having a coordinator in-house, we utilize SEER Bus as sort of the AOS coordinator in helping to keep track of our system. And then I'm also meeting with Tom Claire from Down East Transportation. He and I are meeting Wednesday to sort of talk about his logistical expertise and sort of thinking about how our geography kind of presents some of what we're doing.
Yes. Can I ask a question now, or do you want me to wait?
You can
It's
ask
about
now.
SEER.
Yeah.
So does SEER indicate that they have staffing issues?
They have, well, Heather spoke to them.
Leon spoke to them.
Leon spoke to them, and they have one driver, but they have the ability to, because they have, I believe, a center in New Hampshire, and they have some ability to move some of their drivers around if they put out requests and needs. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about. But he didn't say no, we can't meet your need. He said we could talk.
Okay, and then the sub-question is, and I guess I could talk to Harbor if you, but we're contracting the route, not the person, obviously, but has historically, have there been issues with drivers being swapped out and not knowing where they're going?
No, we've had tremendous, both at Trenton and Bar Harbor, those drivers have been there for a number of years. And so that's something, we'll definitely take a look at. And so in terms of erasing borders, the school boards have fully supported that initiative to erase town lines and see what we get. using TransFinder as a way to sort of develop routes and then bring those to the drivers to make sure they're possible, with ensuring that potentially, and of course this is the part that's would be different for us, is having high school and elementary schools on the same bus. And so that's the new piece. And so exploring our partnerships is working with Sears to acknowledge ongoing struggles and to hire local drivers and to see if they can support us. And then there's the unique geographical consulting with Tom Leclerc and see how he can support us in what we're looking at.
So you briefly mentioned, maybe will you talk more about the vertical integration of like, I think this is some solution piece here.
Of having elementary schools.
Yeah.
And yes, that is the goal. That's the main goal of what Warren is working on. Is he's taking a look. I said, don't think about timelines and use the number of buses that we have and see how that plays out when we first do an initial run and see what that looks like. I hope to have something in May from him to be able to look at. So the idea is, in the immediate term, continue the stop gaps to the best of our ability to support what's happening, to sort of finalize that TransFinder route data and see if it would actually work and see how that plays out, with the target of having something at the summer and see if we can move forward with it. So,
I have a question.
yeah.
Would there be no benefit at all to having the high school contract with CU? Or
Well,
anything, which I know it would be.
The high school doesn't have buses.
That's what I'm saying.
And so they would probably need
Sierra provides the drivers, not the buses.
well, they
They
provide
also
the bus
provide
and the
both.
drivers. They provide the bus and the driver. They are a bus company.
Yeah.
So that's something that they have shared very clearly.
Okay.
So there might be some possibilities of either them purchasing some of our buses if they have the ability to do that and then provide the driver or something along those lines. But those are conversations that we will need to communicate with them.
For your
Yes.
question, sorry.
So that could be a possibility.
Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah. Our problem is getting the kids to one of the problems is getting the kids to the high school on time.
Yeah.
We have a few problems with transportation going on right now, but,
And we could
and
look
I know
at
it's
that.
expensive, because we're talking about it at MDIRSS.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many buses would it take to get the kids to the high school, like, I don't know.
That's something that Warren will run
Yeah.
on his finder.
And then the follow-up question is, do you have a sense of how many students ride the bus to the high school?
This time of year, it gets less and less. The beginning of the year starts more. I think Matt might have a better sense where there's this large group in the fall, and then it slowly, they get their licenses and it shrinks. And, I watch the buses go by and I see, some buses with maybe 10 kids on them.
Marie and Gail.
The software that you're using, is this different than the software that was supposedly being used 3 or 4 years ago or more?
It's the same program that is able to sort of identify, well, it sort of knows where the kids are and then it builds routes based on that.
And that prior, I'm not sure I was here for all of that, but that prior effort to use that software to get a system design ended unsuccessfully? Is that?
It was a matter of the individual who was running the software and conversations or lack thereof with drivers ahead of time.
Marie.
I just want to say thank you.
Yes.
This is a fantastic document, a fantastic presentation. I think you very squarely captured the angst and ire of the last 5 years or more of conversations about how to do this, our concerns, the pros, the cons, and it looks like you have a really steady hand on the next steps from your point of view in terms of working with the partnerships or having conversations with the partnerships, showing, reminding employees that are involved in transportation that the board wants this. So I just want to thank you for that. I know you did the presentation. Did you do it as well? Did you all these icons? It's like,
Oh no, this, I everything that you read, I typed in all the information into Notebook LM,
okay,
and then I had it create that.
understood. But
I used AI.
I appreciate it. But you did, like, all the points are like, yes, it's pretty, but it's like, you really, just thank you for like, really, you did an excellent job of summarizing it, and I'm really impressed with the next steps that I see before you and your transportation staff, Warren, and the other folks. My question is, and you may not know the answer to this, but when you work through these and the summer, trying to see the summer resolution, is your expectation that you will need some support from individual school boards to move this forward? And if so, what does that look like, and how can we make that happen now? And like, because our board would be very, all of us are like looking for solutions. You've provided a great path forward. We want to continue to support your work and your solutions. And what does that look like?
It would be in, potentially changing some contracts with SEER and knowing that Bar Harbor might be picking up some kids in Otter Creek or something like that, or they might be picking up some Mount Desert kids, maybe just some high school kids to get them back or something like that. So it would be around changing contracts in some language there and supporting that work.
And just to follow up, like Susan's question, I was pantomiming, but I was Heather here, and that's Michael. Like the SEER bus service. I mean, it's been the same bus driver since my 20-year-old was in first grade. So we've had the same bus drivers, just like all of the schools that have their own bus drivers. We too have had the same bus drivers for Connors Emerson. They're a fantastic group. They're super. Don't take our stuff away. No, we'll share. But I mean, they're super flexible. Like sometimes these folks will come in and when we're short on the lunch, we've been like down like a quarter lunch staff person. So we've had a bus person that is also contracted to become a school employee and does in between her rounds. She works and fills in that gap. So we can't say enough positive things about SEER and the particular drivers that are working for Connors Emerson. They're like family to us. They know all the kids. And they're really, I don't think Heather and Michael would say that they're really fantastic to work with.
I wouldn't see them like having to go to Pematic or anything like that. They would still be there. But they might have to pick up some other kids as part of, depending on their route, to get kids to the high school after they've dropped off, elementary kids.
I think it's great that you're working with Downey's Transportation. And I know it's like probably super long term and pie in the sky, but they literally hire 100 bus drivers every summer. And if we can somehow, I don't know, but you know what I mean, just buy a house and put 12 of them in a house with a win, right? And they just live here. But yeah. But seriously, like, they have drivers that come here every summer to somehow maintain that relationship. And if there are people that just decide that this is the best place on earth, then we've got jobs for you in the winter.
They do have year-round housing now. They just purchased up the road.
Yeah.
Those apartments.
I manage it.
Did you know?
I know. But you're right. You're right.
It's a partnership with the program.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing that they're able to get that many drivers in the summer and then they disappear.
Yeah, they just, and I mean, a lot of them go back to where they're from and drive school buses. Yeah. So it's like, what's wrong with here?
No place to live.
You've been here in February, right?
Yeah. It was a long, cold
They go back to Florida to drive school bus.
Exactly.
For the balmy temperature.
have a question about the elementary and high school students sharing. I mean, that's what I grew up with. That's what I'm very much used to in my school age years. If this all goes forward, have a perfect plan, and the students have to share a bus, all ages, what if there's a parent who's adverse to that? What is their steps that they would take if they don't want their kindergartner sharing a bus with high school? Would they have to provide their own transportation?
I would think they, since, they would. I mean, there'd be no alternate van to go pick them up or anything. That would be too much to allow that kind of variability.
And the overlap probably would be minimal, assuming the high school schedule stays the same, right?
No, because they pick them up all together and then
Oh,
drop.
we're not talking about, okay.
Like, yeah.
Oh, the high school would ship them.
Yeah, it's like they
Okay,
come by
great.
your house and pick up. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think my expectation is that it would feel, any change is, like there'll be some people who would be uncomfortable, but then they would quickly adapt. I mean, Other questions? Okay. Lost mine. We have no discussion items. So you'll bring an update to the next
Yes,
meeting.
I will after my trainings.
So we have our action items, our policy and calendar related, so I'll launch into those.
So the first action item is the support staff safety care memorandum of understanding. This was designed as part of the collective bargaining agreement that we were going to meet and come up with a new differential for paying for safety care and the needs for staff who work with kids who have needs beyond, the normal day-to-day needs that a student may have. And so we worked on that. It was a series of ed techs, special ed teachers, and we came up with this pay for differential because the reason why is because you weren't supposed to pay hourly staff stipend for this. You were supposed to pay them by the hour. So we put the numbers together and came up with 3 tiers based on what the ed tech was doing. So tier 1 was a $2 an hour extra, and that was for an employee who are safety care certified and are assigned to work 4 or more hours per day with a high risk or high need student whose support needs exceed typical responsibilities. So that's that one. And then tier 2 is a $1 an hour increase for employees who meet the following criteria. They're safety care certified and assigned to work less than 4 hours per day with a high risk or high need student, or they're employees who are safety care trained or not, who perform similar unique student needs, such as they might be helping them with toileting, they might be doing feeding, or a variety of needs that would be outside what you would expect a typical ed tech to do. And tier 3 is 50% more employees who are safety care certified and are assigned 50 cents per hour, who are assigned as part of a situation response team but may not meet tier 1 or tier 2 criteria. They're just there to support and usually don't get involved. They're just there for support. Or an employee who performs similar unique needs of students less than 4 hours per day that are elevated but less intense than tier 1. And then there's a statement about reassignment or new assignments. And the principal sort of sets this at the beginning of every year and sets their assignments, and so then you know what the differential is for pay for that year.
I would just say I wasn't involved in the fighter, but I was involved in the bargaining that led to this process, and I think this is a really positive development because not only was the prior system not in keeping with what we needed to do legally as a stipend versus hour. I think it also wasn't working well, wasn't serving the needs of the employees well, and I think this really speaks to what to solving the problems they were experiencing when they're
And as also part of that prior process, we actually put it on the teachers to say, what do you think is fair for your certifications and your daily job outlook? So it was a nice collaboration. Can I vote to move the sports staff safety care MOU?
was that Catherine? Yeah.
Yeah.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
Then we have the second reading of the cell phone policy, and the only change was we realized that in the tiered approach under students pre-K through 8, in the 912 version, there is a part that cell phones and other electronic items are prohibited from being used in bathrooms and locker rooms. So we wanted to make sure that that was in the pre-K through 8 approach, and so you can see that listed in red, and the rest of it is the same. I haven't heard where the governor's desire to cancel to have no cell phones is in with the legislature. So.
Are we doing one at a time?
Oh,
All right.
I could do the second one. Then the graduation requirements. That one is remain the same from the last time that we saw it.
I'll move to approve JICJ and IKF.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question. Does it make sense for us to ask our superintendent to contact our legislators?
Oh, yeah.
And about, okay,
Yeah.
about the cell phone policy?
I talked to them in January when we met, and I'll be speaking to them again.
Thank you.
But also anyone can contact their legislators too.
Yes.
And then let them know what you think about this. Okay, the Bar Harbor calendar.
And so the Bar Harbor Board met at its last meeting and gave the thumbs up to the calendar. So far, everything is on track in terms of the substantial completion on the 13th for the school in Bar Harbor. That gives a little 2-week window, so just in case there's a little fluctuations there. But being out, we met with the moving company, and they seem that they are ready to take care of us within those 2 weeks to get everybody moved in to Bar Harbor and the kids starting back on the 9th. So.
Is there a motion on this?
I have a motion to pass the, what am I saying?
Second.
Pass
Yeah.
Pass the Bar Harbor calendar for 100 million times.
Second.
I'll second that. Well put.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Is there any public comment?
I have one more thing to add,
Oh.
can I?
Yes.
Everyone's really excited about the project. Rhonda's spearheading, actually. I was thinking about, everyone's really excited about Sparking Wonders. And so I did want to make sure that, I was selling that properly. But that's the ongoing work anyways, but it's the early childhood play-based work. And there's going to be site visits beforehand. And that I can say with confirmation. People are very excited about it.
Thank you. It's called Sparky Wonders.
Sparking Wonders, yes.
Very good. Yeah. More of IA novel.
Totally.
Right. Maybe it's just the naming. Keep this in mind. Well, that was some other business. Is there any other business? Okay. Future agenda items. We will certainly have a transportation update alongside our rather regular updates. What else will we have? We'll have some policy stuff in April. Anything else?
We don't do probationary teachers at the AMS, so we don't have to worry about that.
We will do the AI presentation,
Yeah,
which will be
there,
separate from our note.
Yeah, okay, the AI presentation. Well, if there's anything else, it'll be on your agenda next month. So, okay, our next meeting will be the 13th of April, probably at 6, but wait for your update. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor?